You're trying to plan everything and going through all the stuff you're doing. We're finally to football. We felt that way when we started fall camp, and now it's game time. So, we can concentrate on what we're doing, the X's and O's and those things, and hopefully have everything in line to be ready to do that.
Okay, for a lot of these kids, I know y'all played some big games in the past, but never an SEC game like this going into an SEC school. What do you tell the kids to keep their nerves down and keep them calm, especially the younger kids?
It's just football. We're going to carry some younger kids to see that, and we tell a lot of guys when the football game starts, you really don't know who's there after the first play. So, football's still 100 yards long, and everything's the same. They still put their pads on just like we do, and we're just going to go play and see what happens.
The stage is obviously bigger because there's more fans, television game, and you're playing a team that many people think you have no chance of beating. What do you tell the kids because I know every coach goes into the game thinking we have a chance to win this ball game. So what do you tell the kids that might be different than when you're playing a Division II school or something?
It's all the same. I mean, it's just like we just talked about. They're the same people we are. They've got great athletes. They got a lot of people coming back. They've got preseason accolades like 18th in the country and all that. But, once that game starts, it's all about your fundamentals. It's all about doing the things we ask you to do. And you tell them all the time, all we have is us, and you got to believe in us.
What are some of the things that you've seen in the three scrimmages that you see building in the program?
I think a little continuity with the offensive line, that's come a long way. I think our energy and attitude and all that's been great going in, and that's going to help us. But I think leadership, we talked about electing team captains and doing some of those things, but I thought I visited with the seniors the other day, and 16 of those guys, and I thought all of them had some leadership qualities, and we were hoping maybe that instead of picking one or two out, to still challenge them to lead. I think our leadership has really grown on this football team.
One of the big questions is, in most people's mind, is you've had 5 quarterbacks. Who's going to start this week?
Foster Sawyer will take the first snaps for us. Now, we have several quality quarterbacks, and obviously every one of them have an opportunity to play. But he's going to get the first snaps, and we're going to see how it goes from there.
Talk a little bit about how he's gotten to this point from a year ago.
Well, and going through the injury and all that, it made him learn to lead. He had to spend some time away and then coming back, and so he had to kind of reestablish himself. And when he did, he has great leadership qualities, and the kids will follow him. He takes control in the huddle and gets the ball to our playmakers, and we're hoping that'll be what he does on Saturday.
How does your team match up your defense against their offense?
Well, and when you look at who they have returning, they returned 4 of their 5 offensive linemen. Their running backs are back. Got an all-world quarterback. They lost a couple of receivers, but they replenished those with some JUCO transfers and things like that. So they'll obviously be one of the most talented teams we play. We've got to do a great job of just playing hard and taking our chances when we can.
Coach, past this week, what do you want to learn from your guys this week as y'all head in to build to your home opener the next week?
We just want them to play hard, have fun. Football's supposed to be fun. We talk about that all the time. Cut it loose and play. If the ball bounces your way, hey, excitement, emotion, those things have an impact on college football games, and those are the things you can control. And you want to control the things you can control.
And we talk about players going into this big time atmosphere. I think you having Foster behind at quarterback. He didn't play hardly any last year because of the injuries, but him coming from TCU, just being able to be in those big time atmospheres, at TCU and watch how that works. Do you think that helps him kind of stay calm and keep his emotions?
Oh, without question. And we've got several other guys that have played in the SEC atmosphere before that on our team that are transfers. So, we're not going into foreign ground. There's several guys that have been there.
Talk about, obviously, being a native in Mississippi, first game as a head coach at the college level. How neat is it that you get to go and play in your home state?
Oh, without question, that means a lot to me. I've had an opportunity to play there once before. Had an opportunity to play at Ole Miss. Being from those are big time games for me because I'll have people that are there that I know. But for my first chance to be in the head coaching role to be in Mississippi is pretty special to me.
How many ticket requests are you getting right now from all your friends?
A lot of them. I just tell them buy a ticket because I don't have time. I'm a little busy right now. Take care of that yourself is what I've been telling them. So.
Any other questions?
Good.
One last question. From an offensive standpoint with new offensive coordinator, Coach Barbet calling the plays, how is that going to look different?
We've got a couple wrinkles that'll be a little different. I think he does a great job of when and where to call the plays. You know, he's got some weapons out there, and we just want to get the ball to those guys. And that's what we talk about: how many touches can we get the guys that have a chance to make a play? And he's done a great job trying to get it in their hands. And I think as long as we're doing that and we're sharing the football, then we'll have a chance to do some big things.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Well, I think you got to go all the way back to preseason and the way that our kids showed up to camp with great energy, very, very high fitness level, great conviction and mentality in how they trained and competed in that environment. And, seeing how they were prepared from a team chemistry standpoint was also something that was really excited about. So I think that, they came into the season where they needed to be, and from that point on, regarding camp, it was important that we scheduled games that were going to test us in different ways. You started off looking at Louisiana Monroe and University of Houston, and both of those schools tested us different ways, different shapes, different physical demands, and then certainly LSU Shreveport allowed us to do some different things in preparation for Mississippi State. And, Mississippi State and TCU are two great teams, and they're teams that certainly challenged us in multiple ways as well. And it's something that's going to make us better. We want to make sure that we put ourselves in a position to have chances to win every game. And certainly the Mississippi State game, we felt that way leaving the field, that we were just a break or two here or there. And then TCU was a great team on a great night that we'll learn a lot from that game about who we are, a competitive character. The kids fought hard. And then ultimately there's just some things from a tactical and scheme standpoint that we've already identified now because of that game that will certainly make us a better team as we head down the stretch here.
What's the primary focus for your squad as you head out this weekend on 2 more road games?
So the primary focus for the squad in general is just making sure that we continue to improve every day, that we continue to identify areas that we have got to fine-tune, adjust, tinker, that will give us just a more settled overall feeling in our possession. We like to build. We like to have sustained attacks, and there are some things that we've noticed primarily in the last 2 games, which have been against very good competition, that we're going to build around making sure that we are prepared for that level of competition, because I think the byproduct will be that we'll be in a good position for teams that maybe quite aren't as athletic or as experienced as some of the top end teams that we've been playing these last 2 games. So for us, home or away, not too much of a concern, not too much of a difference in planning there. We'll train here and we'll go down day of on Friday so that we have as much control over the elements as we can. But ultimately, I like what we've identified in film, and there's no doubt in my mind that we are going to be a better team now, having played the last 2 games in preparation for our next 2 matches this weekend.
What are you expecting to see from your 2 weekend opponents? First, Texas Southern on Friday, and then your first ranked opponent of the season in Texas.
Sure, and I think it'll be interesting to see, as you mentioned the rankings, it'll be interesting to see where TCU and where Mississippi State come in this week, because I think both of those teams have gotten some attention with their results and the way that they're playing, and so it wouldn't surprise me that within the next ranking or 2 that we will have faced 3 top 25 teams in our first basically month of season. And those are good challenges that certainly will have us prepared for conference play. But ultimately, those are games that we want to be prepared for on that day. And so, as we head into Texas Southern, we're going to expect a very spirited effort from that team. They have a very unique playing surface, environment, field size. There are going to be some different challenges there that we'll be prepared to embrace. And that are frankly going to be part of that match that we've got to make sure that we're mature in how we overcome. And then as we wind down Friday night and close out that match first and foremost, take care of business, then we'll turn our attention to Sunday, and Sunday at UT is going to be a great test. It's going to be a test against a very athletic, very, very good soccer playing team with a lot of experience and players that have played at a high level, and it's just going to be a great test. But I can tell you, we will be more prepared for that match against UT than we were prepared heading into these last two. And I thought we were pretty well prepared for those, but ultimately one of the games was tighter than the other, and those things happen. You know, we're going to schedule great games against great teams, because where we want to go with making a regional and national brand for our program, you got to play big games. And it's important that our kiddos go through that full well understanding that there are no guarantees, that there are times when games will be tight and there were times when games may get away from you. But, you know, we've got to be indifferent with the outcome. We've got to make sure that our pursuit and our intensity in pursuit of those desired outcomes is where it needs to be, and it has been. I've been very, very proud of the consistent effort of our kids, and as our soccer gets better, as we get more settled into our team identity and who we're going to be, I tell you what, there's a lot of good soccer waiting for this team.
Being early in the season, for those who maybe haven't had a chance to see you play, may not know a lot about this year's team, what are some strengths of this year's team that you would sell your program as?
Sure. I think first and foremost, the competitive character, the opportunities to create goal-scoring moments at any moment of a game, the shapes that we're playing, the way that we're shape-shifting, the overall athleticism of the team, and then, frankly, when you walk out and you look at this team and you watch them play and compete, the team chemistry and the way they fight for each other on the field, it's setting themselves up for some really good. Soccer, down the road as we get, kind of fine-tuned and get this thing rolling. The soccer will come. When you have good players and you have schemes and you have systems built towards your players' instincts, the soccer will come. We've got good coaches. We've got good leadership. Sometimes the biggest challenge, even on great teams, is in your team chemistry. It's in the overall dedication and appreciation for every moment that you get to play a game. And so certainly we're very strong in the culture. We're very strong in our competitive character and in our team chemistry. And so I hope those are two or three of the things that strike anybody who comes and watches us home or away. And then what you'll see is as this season goes on, frankly, there are high expectations this weekend with our level of soccer, with what we will have gone through and learned from our last couple games. So pretty excited about, anytime our fans get a chance to watch our teams play, but certainly this is a pretty special team that I think has a very, very high ceiling of achievement as we continue to move forward.
Thanks a lot for taking the time, Coach. Appreciate you coming in and talking to us.
Thank you, guys. Axum Jacks.
The weekend was that we were tested. We were tested early. I mean, Memphis had, they had a right side that we had a really difficult time stopping. And then Arkansas State gets a lot of offense from a lot of areas with a lot of just up-tempo. And for us, we knew we had to go out and be the aggressor. We talked about being in attack mode against everyone that we're playing. And the most exciting thing, we know we can get offense from a lot of different places. We were really pleased with the balance we had in our offensive attack. And, it wasn't really even by design up front. It just kind of happened, but that's how we're built. And I think our setters understand that and did a really nice job distributing the ball to all of our players, and then our hitters responded. And so that was very good to see a lot of people step up and contribute. And then just the aggressive style of volleyball that we played was what I was most pleased with.
Sure. And then you take a look at your back line, too. I mean, you have Sabrina Monaco back there and Mavi, they come in for 3 matches, and their first 3 collegiate matches put up, double-digit digs. I think Sabrina finished with 18 in that match against Arkansas State, which was a Sun Belt favorite. Just kind of take us through, what they've kind of gone through to get ready to this point and see their work here this past weekend.
Well, they're 2 freshmen, and we need them. We need them to step up, and they're doing a pretty solid job. They've, what our plan is for them throughout the year is that they just get a little bit better each week. And if they can get a little bit better each week and continue growing and continue being more consistent with what they're doing a solid job for us, and they're at a very good starting point, but there's still so much room for growth. And, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, But again, from day one to where we are now, they've both made huge strides, but we need them to continue making those strides week after week.
Sure. I was talking a little bit with Adler upstairs too, and he said there were points throughout the weekend, there was obviously some of the low points you were down, especially in that third set against Arkansas State. You're down 22-20, thinking you might have to go to a fourth, but everybody just kind of, says, no, we got this, we can do this. Was that kind of an encouraging sign, especially against a team like that early on who's projected to be a favorite in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, that was the other thing. Besides our aggressive style of play, I felt like we didn't really get flustered. And it was the sign of a more mature team, which was good to see. And it was a sign of good leadership and us playing with confidence, because we had our backs against the wall in that third set against Arkansas State. And we got back to a point where we pulled ahead by one close to the end. And it's like, okay, we're going to be in good shape. I felt like we were going to go take care of business. And then they went on a huge run, and it did not look good for us at all. And we just kept plugging away, and some things fell into place, and we were able to, to hold on and get it done. So I think the resilience that we showed was really exciting as well.
And then you talked a little bit about changing over from that, Ann being your primary setter, and McKenzie coming in too. Were you kind of pleased with the way that worked? I mean, obviously there were peaks and valleys in there too, but was it, for the most part, from your eyes, kind of seamless with the way that they're able to communicate and pass and do whatever they need to do when they're out there?
Yeah, it worked out really well for us. They're different, yet if we look at the numbers from the weekend, so similar. So similar in what we got in terms of assists per game, what percentage we hit, our kill percentage, that the result was very equal. But what they both bring to the table is so different. They each have very different strengths and weaknesses, and we were able to build off of both of those. And the hitters responded very well, and both setters did a really nice job.
Then you see Anaya and Danya there in the front row. I think they both average just around like a block per set. Is everybody kind of trying, from their standpoint, are they trying to go through or go over? And, how do they kind of make it difficult when when the opposing team's kind of trying to draw a game plan?
Well, Didi and Anaya, they are special players. They're very dynamic. They're very athletic. And they are going to be very difficult for people to game plan for. They have some things that you can't teach just in their physical presence. So for us, being able for them to continue to grow as players, and there's things in their games they've got to get better at, but physically they're doing things I can't teach them how to do. So we've got to continue growing their volleyball IQ and just some different areas like that, because they both have the ability to just take over a match. And I think we saw Danye do that night in that Memphis match. It was really close, and then we were able to get her quite a few balls, and they had no answer for her.
This weekend, Patriot League, Big Ten, and Ivy League. One of those teams went to the NCAA tournament last year in Princeton. This is a pretty big weekend, and Northwestern goes in 3-0 for their first weekend too. So what's the game plan as you kind of hope to continue arguably the best start and one of the most effective starts in program history here?
Well, this is going to be a great weekend for us. It's going to be a huge test, and we've set that our preseason up